Occasionally, you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined live and in studio this morning with Sharon McNamara. She is the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. I believe she's just getting us ready up on social media. So we are live on social media, so be sure to watch us. I'm waving to everybody. Hello. You can follow Sharon McNamara on Facebook, Boston Connect Real Estate on Facebook, I believe McNamara Horton Group on Facebook. We're live on Instagram as well as LinkedIn and YouTube. So, yeah, give us a little wave because we're waving at you. I can see it. People are already watching.
Hello. Good
Hello.
morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I need you to go like this.
Yeah, I can't hear myself. That's
It's still working though. We can hear it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing all right, ladies. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Can you hear us when we're like right here?
I can, but your levels are a little low.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll fix that.
All right. Well, like I said, we are live on all of the socials, so hello, I'm waving to you. But you can also call or text the studio at 781-837-4900. Again, that number is 781-837-4900. You can call or text, and Tim will get your question over to us. Or if you just want to say hi. Good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday.
Yes, and we last week we weren't here live. I mean, it's been a while that we haven't been here live,
but people were still listening.
They were.
We did get some information that people had some questions and they were listening to us. So.
Yeah, and somebody did call, and if she is listening this morning, I promise you, yes, that I am still looking for the pill dispenser that I no longer have to use for my dad, and it's just, I emptied out his apartment, and things are in boxes, but I promise you, I have your phone number, and I will find it, and I will get that over to you so you can have that for your brother. So, I'd like to see things like that go to good use,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whenever we replay a show, I always wonder, do people listen to it a second time, or is it new listeners listening to it?
I think it's both.
Both. I think it's both, too. I mean, why wouldn't you want to listen to us over and over again?
You know what I love about Tim? I think Tim really does listen to us.
He just laughed as if like
I do.
You're
I
right.
do. I
Why
will listen
would
back,
it?
especially if it's something, and I listen. I'm my own worst critic. I'm like, nope, you messed that up, Tim. That wasn't good. Nope.
Yeah, but you really do listen. I love that. And, and since I know that you're always listening, I'm looking at my egg wake-up wrap sitting over there as my stomach is growling, and I was like, I better not eat that.
Yeah, you're supposed to eat it. That's why I gave it to you before the show.
I know. That's all right.
But yeah, no, people are listening to us. It's funny because last night I have an acquaintance, so a friend of a friend. I've seen her in social gatherings, and my friend, who we're mutual friends with, said, this is the Melissa that you listen to on the radio. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've been listening to you for years. I didn't even know it was the same Melissa. I go, yeah. That's me.
It's me.
Oh my gosh.
Did they ask for a selfie?
I know, right? Yeah. I'm giving autographs tonight.
Just keep the
celebrity. Oh, come here.
Yes.
When she leaves Christina's, she's like, incognito because she doesn't want the paparazzi following
no
her.
photos, please.
Yeah.
Big glasses and a big flower hat.
Yeah. But it's funny because, I feel like I'm just going to put out a billboard. Hey, we do the show because they're not putting two and two together.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny when people will recognize your voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then we did have one of our callers actually did call this past week, and we're going to be going to their house to do an analysis. And when they called and they were like, I'd like to talk to either Melissa or Sharon. Well, Melissa usually does not go on my presentations with me, or not my presentations, but when I go to help people, my first stop, CMA, right? Comparative market analysis. So I have a surprise. I don't know if that person is listening or not, but I had Melissa clear out her schedule on Monday afternoon, and Melissa will be coming with me. So we should go with microphones and just sit at their kitchen counter and say, well, this is just what we're familiar with.
She might love it. You'll never know unless we do it. But yes, no, we're doing a little trip down there.
Yeah. And then for those of you watching, I just want to do a little personal something out there right now. So I am dressed in black today because I will be going to a funeral after this in Hingham, and I just wanted to. He was one of. He listened to our show often. He was a very, very good friend of myself and Mark, and he will be missed terribly. His name was Bobby Davis, and he was just. When you meet a person and somebody says, he's just the greatest guy. Just the greatest guy.
Yeah.
And no matter who you talk to, had that same exact feeling about him. So to be a human and to, have every single person that you've ever come in contact say, what a great guy. I mean, it's just really a testament to who he is, and his family is wonderful, and I love them all dearly. And I just wanted to announce today that, he was awesome, and I loved him very much.
You still love him.
I still love him very much.
You still love him.
So that's where we are.
Yes. So, and we're also, I said this on Tuesday's show, and I say it a lot, is, we get our topics for the radio show from our everyday life in real estate. And it is sort of a heavy day, but we're going to keep it light today for the radio show. So we're calling the show The Seller's Dilemma. Should you renovate or list as is? And it's interesting because, over your career and even the 8 years that I've been with you, it's sort of been all over the place a little bit. Yeah. And it's really, for the house, in if people want to, your sellers want to, put even more money into it, or they've gotten to a point where they don't have the money to put into it, or they just want to sell. So we're going to go over a couple different scenarios. But even right now, there, you have a property that's being sold as is. This is, the home. And then you have homes that are completely renovated or brand new construction. So it's sort of all over the place.
Yeah, and I will say, it's interesting because, and I've been talking about this a lot lately, a big part of what I have been doing as of late is, helping clients who are either selling their parents' home because they passed away or because they are now in assisted living of some sort and capacity. And, the kids go in there, and I'll let you know, a lot of times, there's that older demographic who are in their late 80s, early 90s, and their mentality was very much, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So a lot of times you go into these homes and it's mostly cosmetic things that, and I always say to people, as much as you would like to renovate this kitchen, as much as you would love to renovate this bathroom, it works.
Yeah.
So, those are the balancing points where you have to try to figure out, should I or shouldn't I do that? I'd love some feedback from people on this. So I haven't had callers in a while. Just let me know that you still love us out there. 781-837-4900. 781-837-4900. You don't have to wait until there's 5 minutes left of the show, right, Tim?
Yes, please don't do that.
Please don't do that.
I know. And you can also text Tim in the studio because you can text to that same number, 781-837-4900. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about this topic, the seller's dilemma, should you renovate or list as is, I'd love your feedback, whether you're a seller or a buyer. I'd love your feedback on that, just so we can sort of, roll on top of it. But if you have any other questions about real estate, of course, we are here for all your real estate questions.
Yeah. I think the most important part about this is just understanding the market and sort of where we're at. And of course, hiring a professional agent is going to get you there and get you the knowledge that you need and, have that confidant. And what was the word I used on Tuesday that I was so we were all like, yes, that's the word.
Yeah. Yeah, because I put it in one of my slides with me and Mary, so it was weird that you said it.
Oh.
So advocate.
Advocate, yes. You have an advocate.
Yep.
I love that word.
That's what I said, that Mary and I are advocate-centric, right?
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it is, the seller's decision. It's a buyer's decision, what they're going to offer, what they're going to sell for. We just advocate in a way of saying, hey, this is where, the range came in based off of, all the work that I've put into this. Where would you like to land here? Like I said, at the end of the day, it is the client's decision on what they want to do. But we can certainly advocate for different avenues.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you said, and I know it always sounds sort of cheesy when we're the ones that are saying it, it's so important to hire a professional person, someone who is doing this full time. I mean, sorry for all the part-time real estate agents out there. I love you, and I'm sure that you do a great job. But when you're hiring a full-time agent, maybe, and there tends to be a lot of, I'm a school teacher, I'm a firefighter, I'm a whatever, you know what I mean? It seems like people, or I'm working full time, I have a 9-to-5 job. Yeah, can they get it done? Yeah, I'm sure they can. But when you're hiring a full-time real estate agent, this is what we do all day, every day. And I wish it was only 9 to 5. I mean, certainly it's after hours. We're actually going to be doing one of the exercises I asked our agents to do recently was a time audit of how much time, just to really sort of showcase what our value is and what we're doing. And I think I think that we can blame ourselves for people thinking we just put a sign in the ground.
Yeah.
Because I think everything that we do on the back end, we sort of do silently.
Yeah.
And then it just appears look at your marketing pieces, and they just appear.
Well, I think that's because you're an independent contractor, you're in charge of your own business. So, maybe you don't feel as though you have to say, hey, I just want to let you know that I was up until 1 o'clock in the morning, sending emails and doing this and responding, doing all these things, because that's what sort of you're supposed to do. That's how you have a successful business, and that's how you know that you're doing this full time and you're treating it like a business. And you don't sort of have that sort of, I'm using air quotes if you're watching, boss,
Yeah.
So, you're doing what needs to be done. And I think that's sort of, when we got into that mindset, we were sort of, kicking ourselves because you're like, no one sees the value.
Exactly. And too, it is really true, because my job as a listing agent is to help my clients for whatever journey they're on and whatever direction they want to go. So for the most part, most people want us to be, they want, the most amount of money with the best terms and conditions. And that's what our goal is to try to do that for them, right? But sometimes it isn't just the money that is the most important part of it. And, being on top of that, but the things that our clients don't see, maybe that's what we could do a show on, is what you don't see, the things we're doing that you don't see. Because, this past weekend, it was Labor Day weekend, and my anniversary falls on, on that weekend. So it's August 29th. Mark and I just had our 32nd wedding anniversary. I didn't post anything on social media about it because my love for my husband doesn't have to be announced. But anyways, I just didn't. But while I was away, Mary and I have an active listing. And when you have an active listing, unless you have another agent that's substituting in for you, you are responsible for that. You're on call all the time. And I know Mary was having her baby moon, right? Because I think she's announced that publicly now. Mary was on her baby moon. I really wanted her to enjoy that time away. And, as much as things, sometimes you tell people things, and we ended up getting an offer. So I said, let me just take over from here to help. But yeah, we were back and forth on the phone. But what I loved is our client, who is actually a client that we're selling her mom's house right now. She was actually she sold her house with me this year as well. And honestly, when it comes to sellers, I want them to do a show with us because they were just the best. They're the best sellers, and
You're gonna make people jealous.
well, you have to have. Yeah, they were just really, really good. Like they took my advice in some instances. They didn't in some instances, but they fully understood. Like they were just really, really great. And again, I want to be known as, and our agents here at Boston Connect, we want to be known as the knowledge broker. That's who we are. Our job isn't just about, helping you buy and sell a house is like the end goal, but we want to be the knowledge broker to help you as the buyer or the seller make the decisions that you have to make that are best for you and your family.
Right.
And whether your family is of one, meaning you, or your family is of several, meaning an estate with several siblings involved, right? But it was so interesting because I only came and sort of sidetracked on this thought because when you were saying, the things that you don't know that we're doing on the sideline, but then I really feel as if they do because they knew that I was away, they knew that Mary was away, but they did also know that we were working on, negotiations and things like that. And she said to me, she goes, "I'm so sorry that I'm interrupting your vacation." And just that comment made me feel okay about working on my vacation. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh,
so if I was texting, I would put a period.
Yeah.
Tim, did you know? Tim, I'm going to fill you in on something. I digress. I didn't realize. Well, I didn't realize for a long time. I didn't know if you used periods in text messages that meant that you were mad.
Saying yes, period, or okay, period, that means you're mad. So we had to call her out.
So I was like, all right, no more periods after okay.
Yeah. And then you apologize sometimes after you do not mad.
Well, you know why? I think my phone is set up because double space makes a period.
Yeah, double space makes a period. But who does a double space after okay?
Me.
Okay. Well, you need to stop, okay?
Hey, listen. That's
Unless you're really mad.
The Catherine Gibbs in me, when I went to Catherine Gibbs, I went to the legal secretarial program on Newberry Street, and it was like a 9-month program. I was the. Did I ever tell you I was the class valedictorian?
Oh, I thought, were you the fastest typer?
I was.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why I was probably the valedictorian.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So again, we're going to talk about the seller's dilemma. Should I renovate or list as is? So as I am helping my clients, it's one of those questions where it depends, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I actually have 3 different properties that are family owned. One of them, like the mother owns them. One of them, the mother is in assisted living. We just sold another one where his mom was in assisted living. And then we have 2 where mom has deceased, okay? And honestly, I've given different advice to each one. So that's why I think it's really important to call somebody in as a professional. If it's me and Melissa and Mary, that's great. But if it isn't us, then you should absolutely call somebody. Because I think a lot of people will make the mistake to think that they have to make it look like HGTV in every situation. And my line to everybody is always this. We are going to price this house according to the condition that it's in. And why I do that in some instances, because it is a lot of work to empty out a house. It is a lot of work to get a house to look HGTV ready or whatever you want to call it. So putting that added stress on a family isn't necessary.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah. I just remember going to a listing appointment with Mary, actually, and, somebody had, done some renovations themselves, but essentially was like, I've gotten to the point where I can't do any more. Financially,
I actually forgot about that one.
Financially,
another one
can't
we have,
do anymore, and would like to sell it as is. So they had already had it in their mind, like this is sort of where I have to stop.
Yep.
So Yeah.
And two, I hate using the word as is. Like, I never like to put that into MLS.
Yeah, it always like feels like something might be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, it's not that there's something wrong with it. It's just, again, it's as is. I guess that's why they use that term. But I think that people get this preconceived conception of it being bad, but it just might be, hey, this is the way that it is, and we're not making any changes, and it might be something simple, like, you know, maybe the bathroom is avocado green and harvest gold, or you know what I mean? It's just as is, you know.
Well, not even just that, because I don't think anybody would say, you know, I put a term in their offer like seller must renovate bathroom to, you know, X, Y, and Z, but it's more of like, you know,
the roof.
Like these things, they're not going to be taken care of. Like it's just very much it's priced to the condition that it's in, the location that it's in. You know, it could be in an estate. It's just like we just don't have the ability to do anything further here. So that is the price. And if you would like to go over, that's emotional for you.
Yeah. And two, I think that a lot of it comes down to what your offer is, you know. So and in some instances, it's as is. Hey, the septic system has failed or something like that. So those are bigger ticket items. But yesterday, I was actually doing some final negotiations on one of my listings. It's one of these that we're talking about right now. And the buyer did have a home inspection, and which we welcome, by the way. You know, if you're a buyer out there and you're afraid to do a home inspection, don't be. I mean, that is your due diligence as, you know, being a very responsible homeowner, by the way. So there are listing agents that still accept offers with home inspections, just so you know. But, you know, a couple things did come up, and one of them was like, you know, the back steps to the deck were loose. My response, of course, I go to the seller because I can't make these decisions for them, but I did go to the sellers and I said, you know, this is, you know, a couple of things that they're requesting. And they said, well, what's your opinion? And I gave my opinion. I think that they got this house at a fair and reasonable price, and I don't think that this is something that you should have to be responsible for. And if it is it wasn't a concern to your loved one. If it's a concern of theirs, then that's something that they can repair.
Yeah.
So that's how we left it.
Yeah, I agree.
So
put another nail in it. There you go.
Yeah.
All done.
Yeah, exactly. And I love here, I'm looking at our agenda too, is like understanding the market. And that's why one of the things that I did say at the beginning, or maybe you said it, I can't remember because we're sort of one at this point, is, you know, where are we in the market? So it really depends on whether you should or you shouldn't. So
It's very attorney-like. It depends.
It depends. I know. I would love a caller, because I wish that somebody would call and just say, well, what do you think about this, Sharon? This is the issue. Do you think that I should fix it or should I not? 781-837-4900. I'm going to bribe you to call us. We have Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. If you don't like Dunkin' Donuts, just let us know. We'll get you something else. But yeah. I would love to have, what do you think about this? Do you think we should fix this? Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think sort of the renovations at a home would have the highest return on investment?
So again, I guess that depends as well. I think the biggest mistake that people make, though, thinking that they're going to get a lot back is, you know, the finished basement, and then they put a bedroom in there, quote unquote, because anything under, you know, the one step under the front door threshold is not considered a bedroom. So don't make that mistake. And you also have to be very careful. You can't, a lot of properties or a lot of towns on the South Shore, you have to be really careful where you're saying something is a bedroom, because you don't want to get yourself into a legal liability where you say, oh, I added this room, or I divided this room into two so I could make it a 4-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom. Because if you have a 3-bedroom septic system, then you have to be very cautious about that.
Mm-hmm. I did get a text from someone saying kitchen and bathroom, ?
Kitchen and bathroom. So for renovations.
Return on investment?
Yeah, you always get the best bang for your buck with the kitchen and the bathrooms. And I think it's just, it's funny. It's where people spend the most time.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like that's where you spend the most time is in your kitchen and in your bathrooms. So I do think that if there is any type of a renovation that is going on, I think that that's where I would be putting my money. But if I was selling my mother's home because she recently went into assisted living or deceased, I wouldn't spend the money to do my kitchen and baths over. I would just price the house according to the condition it's in. And the reason why I say that, unless, of course, you are a contractor. So Mark and I were over in Cuttyhunk last week, and I was talking to somebody there, and he was a couple boats down, and actually I think it was his son, lives in Pembroke, right down the street, and they came over. We were talking. They had a boat and stuff. Excuse me. But he was talking about his mom has a condo in town, and that he is considering doing the kitchen over before he sells it because his mom is going to be going to assisted living. And I said, well, honestly, I don't mind. And I hate when I'm away and on vacation. And I hate saying anything. I'm the worst real estate agent ever. Like, I don't want to put my services on somebody just because it seems like, oh, you want a listing. It's just like, hey, if you would like my help, like, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
There are people, I went through somebody's house the other day and I was like, honestly, I don't know why you would ever leave. Like, I really don't know. Like, you could change this room into your bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I feel as if being the knowledge broker, what that means to me is giving you solid advice to make a good decision for yourself financially and for your lifestyle. So I said to him, I don't think it's necessarily needed to renovate the kitchen in order to sell your mother's house.
Yeah.
If you would like me to come over, I'm happy to do that. Like, you don't even have to use me, but I'm happy to give you my advice or like my opinion. And he's like, well, I'm a contractor, so blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, well, that makes things different. That's a different conversation. If you are a contractor and you have the time, energy, and money to do that, it's not going to cost you as much as if you went to a kitchen place and designed a whole kitchen, you know? So that's where, when I say it really depends.
Yeah. And I even think, you know, that even depends because there's so many different tastes. Everyone has a different taste, and what, you know, one person loves, another person might not love. But also there has been feedback over the years of, you know, sort of the builder's special, or like it's just very much like, okay, that's just what they put in type of thing. So I would say the quality as well. So and that goes across the board. So if you're going to be doing renovations like that, making sure that you have a quality person taking care of those things.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah. Because if you're not into construction, you shouldn't really be trying to do things. It just ends up being one of those things. And if you're going to do some new construction, please always get a permit for the things that need to be permitted. You know, that's another big mistake. And I know you and Tracy Grady, who's a full-time agent here, obviously, at Boston Connect Real Estate, I know you have had this conversation many a times about the importance of having a permit on when you're doing these renovations. So if things look new, I always like to verify that permits were pulled. And by the way, when you signed a purchase and sales agreement, it says, do you have anything that's open, you know, any open permits or anything? Or did you do any work without permits? So make sure that you're not skipping that step. I was going to say something else about the renovating of the
kitchen and bath.
The kitchen and bath. Yeah, I did talk about the stress of it, right? So, like, if you don't have to, you don't have to. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you're thinking about, you know, I think I'm going, you know, here's the thing. At some point, we're all going to sell our house, right? I mean, I've been in mine for 32 years. At some point, I'm sure I'll sell it. But if you think that you know what, you have your goals and you have your plan and you know what your journey looks like, you would, you know, if you're like, you know, I don't think that I'm going to be moving for another 5 years. Well, guess what? If you have outdated bathrooms and kitchens, don't worry about it in 5 years. Why don't you do it now and enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah, if you financially can, why don't you enjoy it for a few years?
Yeah.
I think that's also the follow-up question that we have for people who are sort of on the fence about selling and should I do this and should I do that? And, you know, we always ask, you know, well, if you're going to be doing those renovations, why don't you enjoy them? Enjoy them for a while, because if not, it might not be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, your house, right, is a very good example. It was, that was one of my listings and me and Mary's listings. And the woman, the owner, she was the original owner of the property, and she moved in with her daughter, right, just because, she aged in place as long as she could there. But your kitchen and your baths potentially need to be renovated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But do they work?
They work. Yeah. They work. Ethan does say, was this toilet made for an ant? We do have a small toilet, so one day, I promise, we'll renovate. But they built the home in 1964. They raised their children in that house, and they maintained it. They kept it. Like you said, if it wasn't broken, they didn't have to fix it.
We painted up your cabinets, right? Yeah. So I had the painter go in, paint up your cabinets, just freshen it up.
Yeah.
So those are things.
Change the hardware, and I redid the hardwood floors. I had them sanded, and and it's just it made a world of difference. It was funny because I was thinking about it yesterday because Jenny Wandell, who's a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate as well, who has joined us on the show, was looking for somebody to do floors in her house. And I said, the guy who did mine, who I actually got from Jess Page, who's a realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate, just did a really great job, very fairly priced. And I got me thinking, like, what a difference my house made, having the floors in all the walls, the ceilings done, painted, and I replaced the carpet in one room, and it felt like a new house. I mean, it was a new house for me, but it just felt like a world of difference. So, and I'm so grateful that you didn't allow me to paint it myself, because I was going to paint it myself.
I'm so glad. I'm glad.
I'm very fortunate and blessed to have the McNamara family in my life. Well, who love me so much. And
when you said that you were going to do it yourself, I went home that night and I said, Mark, I know what our housewarming gift is going to be to Melissa.
we're having the house painted. We're like, whatever you want, dear.
Exactly. But those are the things, like in that instance, we told them, don't worry about it. When they were selling their house, that was my point to really bring this up. Don't worry about it. Someone's going to love your house in the condition that it's in, and let them decide what they want to do when they move in. If they want to renovate the whole entire kitchen, they will. If they want to just paint the cabinets, they will. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get your house on the market. I tell you, one of my pet peeves, as much as I love HGTV, and if you want to, make us one of your shows, feel free. But I do think that it gives people a false impression of what it really is like to be in real estate. I think the closest show to it is probably House Hunters, because that shows houses in the condition that they actually are. But the house, the renovation shows where they go in like Good Bones, right?
Yeah.
They go in and they're basically just, taking the house down to the studs and doing it over so they can sell it. You do not have to do that, I promise you.
Yeah.
And in some instances, I know that this is, should I renovate or should I just sell it as is? I mean, renovate is sort of a big word. Like, what does renovate mean? I don't want you to put an addition on your house. I don't think that you need to do, really, in all reality, now that I think about the title of this, I don't think you need to renovate anything. But I did go to somebody's home this past weekend. She is a past client. This past week, she's a past client. Mom did pass. They live in a mobile home in Carver, and they're going to be listing her mom's house. And she had said to me on the phone before I went there that she's, not sure about the roof. And I said, don't do anything until I get down there and I can give you an idea or an assessment. I said, if it isn't currently leaking, I wouldn't, don't stress about it. But if it does have active leaks, then certainly that is something that you would want to fix, right? That's more of a issue than it is a cosmetic thing. And when I got there, she had said, oh, you just missed the roofer. And my first question was, oh, who was it? And she told me who it was. And I was like, oh, well, that's great, because that's who I was going to refer to you if, not knowing that that's who she used anyways. So that's Fred Falcone from Pembroke, by the way. So she said, I did, when I came in the house after we had the conversation, I did look around and I did see some stains in the roof. So, that, to me, that's being a responsible seller, here, we are fixing the roof. But then when I'm walking through, so renovate, that would be maybe a renovation. But some of the things that I'm thinking about is, how should I list my home? Should I have furniture in here? Should I have furniture out of here?
Yeah.
And that's another, it depends.
Yeah, it really does depend. I'm trying to think of the house recently, within the past year, that everything was out. And I said, oh my gosh, it looks so much better. Like, you can actually see the floor plan. You can maneuver around. I forget which one it was, but it worked for that house. When I was looking for a house for myself, I remember viewing a house and saying, oh, yeah, for them, they should have left the furniture in here because, and no, I'd never want to hide anything, but I was like, it just showed every single issue. So, did not move forward with that house, obviously, but then there was the house that I did have under agreement, and you pull up a rug and the floor is missing. It's the floor is missing for that. So I think, again, it depends on the house and sort of where you want to be at. But sometimes I feel like the house just shows better with nothing in it.
Well, in some instances, it's funny because with new construction, when there's nothing in it, I feel the rooms look smaller.
Yeah.
And then when you add furniture and do staging, then people can, especially with open floor plans, people have a hard time placing the furniture in their head to sort of visualize it. So that's sort of different. Well, let's do a show on staging because we haven't really done that in a while. I know I haven't, at least. You may have with other people. So Kristen Howlett, who's a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she's one of the people in our office that we consider a contract expert. So she is one of our contract experts.
Forms,
contracts. She's our forms expert.
She does everything by the book.
Yes, she is a forms expert here at Boston Connect Real Estate. And she just said something that my listing in Bridgewater, we recommended them to remove the furniture.
Yes, and remove everything.
Yeah, remove everything. And that does make... that does make a difference. Kristen just smiled about the forms expert, but she really does do everything by the book. She's great. That's one of the things I can say about our agents is we're all learning from each other. We're all teaching each other, and we're all, for the most part, most of us are full-time agents. So that's what makes the difference. But the house that I was in the other day, that was the question was, it was a mobile home too. And, one of the things was you were great. You put my folders together when I go to meet with people and you had, our brochure in there. And the question is oh, you'll do something like this for a mobile home? I will do this for a mobile home and I will do this for a $6.5 million home. Everybody, it's somebody's home. Of course I'm going to.
But that's not our cap. So if you're over 6.5, we're more than happy to help you as well.
Exactly. But when I was walking through the house, I said, all right, so what are your plans with the furniture? And she said, well, I wanted to talk to you about that. Do you think that we should leave some for staging? And as I looked at the furniture, my response was, no, I think that you should get everything out of here. And the reason why is every time I think about that question, I'm thinking about how is this going to present itself in photos, right? So if you have... Even if you had a completely renovated house, let's just take a new construction house, and then you put furniture in there. I'm going to use when I bought my house in 1992. If you put my furniture just from 1992 into that house, people are going to be like, what? Or now think about, this demographic that I've been helping where the parents are in their 80s, late 80s and 90s, early 90s. Now you put their furniture in. Yeah. No matter where you put the furniture and no matter what renovations you've made in that home, it's going to pick up that vibe. So that's what, the big not that the furniture wasn't nice. I'm not telling people that. It's just, the big overstuffed couches, where you have the handle on the side and the thing comes up, what do you call that thing when the feet come up?
The recliner?
No, yeah, but is it a hassock?
I don't know.
I don't know. What is that called?
I'm just thinking of two very similar properties that you've had recently. One was empty, one did have furniture, and I felt as though the one that was empty showed better.
Yes.
and I think that they had a lot more traffic through.
Yeah.
And, you know, very similar everything.
Yeah.
But I just felt like you were able to see the hardwood floors. You were able to see the beautiful windows. You know, you were able to see the things that you're selling. You're not selling the furniture unless you really are selling the furniture. But like you said, you know, with the oversized and this and the floral and everything, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work for the people who are coming through. And I remember when I was touring homes, it always felt kind of weird to me that, like, I would walk into one room and it had a bunch of furniture, and then I'd walk into the next room and there was absolutely nothing in there. And I'm like, is someone living here? Like, it sort of distracted me of being like, does someone live here or not live here? Or what's happening or what's going on? Like, and it took away from me actually viewing the house.
And that is the advice that I do give people is if you you know what I mean? If we're going to take the furniture out of one room, I'd really like the furniture out of all rooms, you know? So, and I know that it's easier, especially for families. And this is where, you know, where I've been this, you know, like I said, you know, you heard me cry a few weeks ago, like this chapter of my life that I'm in right now and my clients that I'm helping, and it's repeat clients that I'm helping them sell their parents' homes. And I know that it would be easier for you to just keep things there and hopefully, you know, maybe the buyer would come in and say, hey, I'll take care of everything. Or maybe, and I get this a lot, well, maybe the buyer could use the furniture. Maybe this, you know, maybe I'm letting you know that, you know, all that dark furniture, it's so hard to get rid of. Like, and I hate to say get rid of because here's the thing, the quality of that furniture that our parents had is so much better than the quality of furniture that people are buying at IKEA right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
love
gone
it.
into
You have a really good appreciation for like quality.
real hardwood.
Yeah.
I just, one of your listings recently that was
Yeah.
being emptied out had these beautiful Ethan Allen, you know, little, drawers, like, and I didn't know I still don't know what I'm putting in them. One of them I have put like my sheets and stuff in, but like I just wanted them because I've been saying ever since I bought my house, how come they don't make furniture out of wood anymore?
Yeah.
Like, where's all the like heavy wood that you need like 4 people to bring it up the flight of stairs? Like, where is all this stuff? You know, I'm going out to, I'm okay. You know, at that point I was like, I'm okay with spending whatever on, I just want the quality to be there.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't finding it. So I just had to keep going to your listings.
Yep. I'll have that.
Yeah, I was like, are they getting rid of this?
Oh, actually, you know what? That reminded me because on one of my listings, I know that you were just sort of talking about, you know, the other one from where you got that from. They have a beautiful upstairs. They have that huge set that's it's like a hutch with like 2 things.
Yeah.
And I have to ask the buyer if they want that or not. But if not, that's a really nice piece if you want that, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know where I'd put that, though. That is a nice piece. It's
Yeah,
big, though.
downstairs. You could put it on that wall.
I know. But now I have, from another one of your listings, I have some furniture down there that I'm like, I shouldn't have taken this.
Yeah. Well, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but so I am digressing a little bit, but I think that does make the difference. And as you were talking about those properties, it really, I wish that we could rewind to our condo.
Rewind.
Yeah. I suppose there was a sound for that.
There you go. I did it for you.
Yeah. Now, and here we are. We're back talking about condos. I would love to do a recap on that condo one. Maybe we just do a podcast on it because the situation there when you said, you know, it had less people coming through.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really had, it may have had something to do with the photos and seeing furniture in there, but the real truth is it probably had more to do with the residents in the development. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we should have a conversation about that. And hey, do you want to sell something in your development or not?
But here's the thing with that. If you don't know about that, you would assume what I had assumed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's what are people thinking out there?
Yeah.
Kristen Howlett said sellers can contact My Brother's Keeper to repurpose good quality furniture.
Yeah, yeah. So, and Kristen Howlett, she is a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she does the show with you a lot on Tuesday nights. I think she was here last Tuesday, actually. She is, you know, she just loves my brother's keeper. That is one of the things that is near and dear to her heart. And I remember that she invited us to do some things a couple of years ago. Kristen, I know you're listening. Can you set that up again? Because I would love to do that again.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving basket.
Yeah, can you do that? And we'll talk about that. Yeah, because I would love to go back over there and help do something things like that. But yeah, and there's also different organizations, and maybe we'll have a different show. What do I do with all this stuff? Okay, so what do I do with all this stuff now that I have it? So today's question is the seller's dilemma. Should you renovate or should you list as is? If you have any comments about this, please give us a call. Don't be shy. 781-837-4900. I am live in my home studio here at Boston Connect Real Estate. As you know, I am the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, full-time real estate agent as well, here with my sidekick and co-host, Melissa Wallace, who is the director of operations. And we just have a tag on her door that says our everything because that's what she is to us here. So so there were a couple different shows that we were thinking that we would do based off this one. So give us a call. If you have any
I thought you were going to
questions.
give the number again. Something that I was thinking is also you could get quotes for things. So if your home needs some renovations done, you can get the quotes if you can't afford to do them yourself. At least you have something to show a potential buyer. Hey, just want to let you know, I know we need to replace the carpet. If I'm just thinking of a house from a few years ago, or a lot of years ago now. I don't even remember what year is it.
I have no idea.
That there was a carpet that essentially needed to be replaced. It was going up the stairs, up the hallway, even into bedrooms. So it would have been, a larger cost. The sellers just weren't in a position to replace it. So they got we have a caller. They got a quote and, sort of left it up to the buyer. Hey, when you purchase the home, this is something that we sort of looked into. But I think we have a caller, right, Tim?
Yes, we do. We have the great Jay in Plymouth.
Hello, Jay in Plymouth. How are you?
Well, good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning. And Melissa mispronounced your name. It's the Great Jay.
Oh, the Great Jay. My apologies.
I listen. I just don't call in all the time. But since on the subject of regarding selling your house and all that, basically what I would decide, if you're going to repaint, do basic colors, even down to white. People are just going to buy your house. They're going to have their own colors that they want. But also your yard. You want your yard at least to be pruned, the bushes pruned, the trees pruned. You want it to look good.
Yeah.
And there's things that you can do to a home that's not going to cost you a fortune.
Exactly.
And it costs you just a little bit of sweat equity, right? So
Exactly.
that is true. And, Jay, as you're talking, the great Jay, as you're talking, I'm thinking about one of the listings I'm going to be having coming on the market soon, and it is Mom is in assisted living. And when we went there, the yard was overgrown, and there was a pool that hadn't been open. That's another thing I'm seeing a lot of, by the way, is, Mom and Dad lived in the home. They had the pool working, but after one passed, the other one said, I just can't handle this on my own. So they just let it, they just keep the cover on it, and then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But the brothers did go in, and they cleaned it up, and they cleaned up the whole yard. And what a world of difference it made.
Oh, yeah. And, if you're going to buy a house with a pool and you see a pool in that condition, you're going to go, okay, what else is wrong with that pool? But if you have it clear water and clean, they're going to not have that question,
Yep, absolutely.
Which I would assume would lower the value of the home.
And again, that's when I would go in and say, and in some circumstances, people just don't have the resources, the time, the energy, and the money. That's where you have to sort of balance. And that's what I do, again, going in here as the knowledge broker and being the one that's giving you the advice so you can make the best decision for yourself. So if I went in there and said, hey, if this was working properly, then probably from a marketing perspective, you will probably get more offers. But if this number is okay with you, then potentially, this is probably the number we would get with it being in the condition that it's in. That's when you as the homeowner have to make that final decision of, all right, I'm working a full-time job. I have kids who just started football and cheerleading, back to school, all these things. Do I have the time, energy, or money and resources to take care of something like that? And if you do, great. And if you don't, that's okay, so long as you know what the end result is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And we all know that when it all comes down to doing these things, it's financial, it's money. And some people in the situation, or I should say most, might not have the resources to pay for this stuff. But you never know. There could be contractors out there that might help you in that assistance in doing the work, and then when it comes to closing, getting paid out. There's a lot of different ways that people can do things. And having the knowledge going through you guys, and seeking that knowledge and retaining that knowledge, basically, look at when you're going to sell a house or buy a house, what is it? It's a visual.
Mm-hmm.
So you want everything looking the best that it can.
Mm-hmm. And it's you know what, the visual is what brings on the feeling, right? So for me, the mission of, Boston Connect Real Estate is we take a holistic approach to helping home buyers and home sellers with that next chapter of their life, right? And I think that the visual, you're so right on this, the visual is what gives you that feeling. And that's what's important, because if you go into a home and, like you said, hey, if everything is in disarray, if the pool doesn't look like it's being taken care of, what else isn't being taken care of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
exactly.
And that's the feeling that you get from that visual. So that's why I think it's really important. And that's why, back to thinking about, selling a home, maybe that cosmetically, okay, it has avocado green and, that gold, whatever that gold is. What was that gold? I forget. Harvest gold. If you go in there, but sometimes I'll say to people, don't worry about it so much. I'd rather clean harvest gold than filthy, rotten white.
Yeah.
Right? It's that feeling that you get from the visual. I love that you said that. Okay, good.
Exactly. If things don't look clean or organized, then people are going to go, well, this house wasn't taken care of. Just like if you're buying a car. You check the oil. If the oil is black, well, they didn't take care of they haven't done oil changes for a while. So everything, there's things that you can do that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yep. Absolutely. And if there's some things that you have to do, like, like I said, that sweat equity, maybe you have some friends that will help you in the process. So, well, great, Jay. Thank you so much for calling in. We only have 1 minute left and we have to get some of our open houses. Any final thoughts for us?
Just, ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Gain the knowledge, do the best that you can, and make everything look nice.
Yep, absolutely. And have Sharon and Melissa come into your house and give you some suggestions. That's what Jay said. That's what the great Jay said.
That's what the great Jay said.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Jay. Have a good weekend.
Till the next time. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So what about open houses
Open
this weekend?
houses. Sam Horton actually has a rental in Holbrook. It's 152 South Franklin Street, Unit 2, Holbrook. He's doing an open house from 6 to 7 tonight. That is on the market for $19.50 a month. Of course, Cushing Trails in Hanson every Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 12. And Cochise Estates in West Bridgewater from 10 to 2. That's Sharon and Mary's listings, new construction, development. Team Flynn is hosting an open house at 26 Pratt Ave in Bridgewater tomorrow from 11 to 1. That is on the market for $9.39. And Sam Horton has a listing, 9 Alden Street in Kingston from 11 to 1 tomorrow. That is on for $4.49.
All right, awesome. And if you need to get in touch with any of those agents, feel free to give us a call or go to our website, bostonconnect.com. You'll be able to find all of our agents' information there, and you can get in touch with them directly for a private showing. So have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday. Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome.
Have a great week.
Neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood.
The South Shore's first